The questions, Dr. Guest already has the questions. The same questions are asked of each candidate. I want to congratulate you on being one of the top 5. I told this the other night, and I'll tell it again for those that were not here. The only person in this room that knows the ranking of the top 5 is me. The board does not know who was number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rank-wise. So everybody starts out on an even basis as far as the interviews are concerned. Haven't shared that with anybody. In just a minute, we'll ask you to give us a brief overview. Tell us what you need to about yourself, introduce yourself. I think everybody here knows you, but we've done this for all the other candidates. We'll do the same thing for you. I'll let you introduce yourself to the board. Anything you think they need to know up front, please do that. We'll go through the questions, as Mr. Live said, and the board will have a chance to ask follow-on questions if they want to. And then at the end, we'll give you a chance to summarize or fill in any blanks that have been left open that you think the board needs to know about. Okay? So, with that, I'll ask the first question. Why are you interested in leading Jackson County Schools? As our new superintendent and leader of our successful school district, how would you initially approach your new position?
I have been a part of the Jackson County School District since 1979. When I moved to Jackson County, I was an experienced teacher with a lifetime certificate in the state of Georgia. And I lived close enough to the Georgia line to have continued my career in Georgia. But that's not what I wanted. I wanted to be a part of the community in which I lived. I wanted to know the people. I wanted to contribute to community life. I wanted to give back to the people who had welcomed me so warmly. In short, I wanted to be a part of Jackson County. And I made a commitment to the Jackson County school system 36 years ago. And I've been able to live out that commitment in my professional life. As a teacher, as an assistant principal, as a principal, as a central office administrator. I became curriculum coordinator as a central office administrator, and that was a perfect fit for me because I have a passion for instruction, a passion for curriculum. But in that very first year, Mr. Townsend, who was superintendent at that time, called me into his office and said, you know, the State Department has asked us to name somebody as a technology coordinator. So we think that, he says, I think that ought to be you. Now, my response to Mr. Townsend was, yes, sir. Because if you know him, that's what you said to Mr. Townsend. Yes, sir. Now, none of us knew exactly what that was going to be. But as it turns out, it has been a joyful experience to begin a program and take it from nothing to something. And paired with curriculum, it has been a wonderful experience being in the central office. Through the years, additional hats have been added to my job duties. And eventually enough hats were added that I guess I earned the title of assistant superintendent. I share all this with you to let you know that I am invested in this county. I'm invested in its people. I'm invested in its future. I am invested in the school district because we work with the children and they are the future. It is important to me that this school district continue to move forward. We don't need to slow down. We don't need to hesitate. We don't need to miss a beat. We need to keep moving forward. I believe, from my years of experience, my knowledge of this county, my love for this school district, that I can bring stability to this position in a time of transition. And this is a time of transition. We have lost more leadership at one time than I have ever seen happen in the school district. That can slow us down, that can impede our progress. but I believe I can provide a steady hand to help us through this transitional time and keeping us forward without missing a beat. I know our strengths and I want to build on those strengths. I know our areas that are a challenge, and I want to work with you, the board, with our personnel and our communities to address those challenges. I have a vision for the school district. I envision a school district which helps all children find their individual talents, develop those talents to the fullest, and be successful when they leave school, ready for taking their place in the community as a good citizen and a good employee, one with a good life in front of them. I believe our board and our personnel all share that same vision. And I believe that I can provide the leadership that makes it possible for us to make a great deal of progress even in a relatively short period of time. And I guess I have one special reason. Through the years, I've been involved in a lot of projects that I think have been good for the school district and have carried us forward. Many of those projects are reaching a point where we need to be, and one technology being one, just to name it. I want to be a part of taking these projects across the finish line to get us where we need to be. There's no song that goes, we've got a long way to go and a short time to get there. I think that together, you, the board members, our faculties and staffs, and I can get there. Did you ask for my approach? How I would approach it? I believe that's part of it.
Second part of the question was, how would you initially approach your new position?
Well, the phrase that comes to mind is, I want to hit the ground running. I've already told you, we don't have any time to waste. We need to keep moving forward. We don't need to stand still. You're going to hear me use the word collaborative an awful lot today, because I think collaborative defines me. It defines my approach. It defines how I would approach this position. My first item of business would be to meet with this board or its individual members, depending on how we have to structure it for the Sunshine Law, to discuss where we are, what we're doing, where we need to go, and how we're going to get there. We need to be on the same page about that. We need to be together about that. We need to have a united front concerning the school district. Now, of course, I'd want to meet with central office personnel. We have a lot of things that need to get done in this time of transition. If we're not going to miss a beat, these are the people who can help us get it done. They help everything keep running. They do a remarkable job of that. And it's essential that this central office personnel collaborate with the superintendent and support that superintendent. It's a mutual thing. That superintendent then has to support them. I'd want to quickly meet with our principals. You know, our principals are really on the firing line. They're out there every day ready to take on the challenge of actually being a principal in this day and age. Once upon a time, all a principal had to do to be considered a good principal was to keep the building clean, keep the yard cut, make sure everybody in the building behaved. Well, it's long past that. Our principals are challenged to be instructional leaders. They're challenged to be security experts. They're challenged to be the community liaisons. They're asked to do a tremendous amount of work. And not only that, anything that goes wrong in that building, it's their fault. The parent doesn't want to go see the teacher first, let's go to the principal. They take these kinds of hits every day. They need to hear from the superintendent. They would need to hear from me that I have their backs, that I was there for them. And you know, that would be an easy commitment to make because of the quality and the character of our principals. They strive, each one of them, to have the best school in Jackson County. They know our policy, they can quote it for you. They redo it, they rethink it every summer. Not only can they quote it, they follow it. They follow the guidelines that we set forth. They set high standards. They strive to do what's right. And it's easy to have the backs of people that work like that. Now, all of these meetings I'm talking about, I really would want to get out in schools too. It'd be hard to meet with all the teachers, individually, but I'd really like to get out in schools and walk through those schools with these principals. I want to meet with our supports personnel too. They need to know my expectations, and they need to know that I understand how hard their work is. That we can't have school without it. That needs to be a communication that we have. All of these meetings would not be get acquainted meetings. They would be let's get down to work meetings, because I know these folks and they know me. I can trust these folks to do their very best, and I believe that they can trust me to be there for them. I think that gives us a head start. There's one more thing I'd like to do, and that is start a community outreach. I like to do public speaking most of the time. Maybe not so much today, but most of the time. I enjoy going out and talking about school. I love to talk about school. Most teachers do. I want to go out and take to the community, to the civic clubs and the PTOs, the message of what we're doing in Jackson County, what we're accomplishing, the good things that are going on, and there's a lot to tell. And I would certainly ask the board to join me in that effort. That's how I'd start. That's how I would begin. And then I would buckle down and go to work. Day in and day out for the kids in Jackson County.
All questions, West?
No, you don't start with me. All right. Dr. Giss, you said you started in 1979. You worked under several superintendents.
That's right. I served under 4 superintendents.
If we appointed you superintendent, and right after you was appointed, you run into a major problem you couldn't solve, which one of the former superintendents would you seek for their advice and trust them most?
Well, you know, the person that has helped me the most as far as growing as a leader, because I was given responsibility and trust, would be Mr. Willard Townsend.
Sure.
I have no questions.
What?
Dr. Giss, I would like to preface my comments before I get to the actual question, okay? When I ran for a seat on the Board of Education, I ran on the premise that I would do everything I could to help kids get a good education in our state system. And that has been my focus during my 5 years on the board. And that is my focus today. I'm going to be asking some tough questions. As the professional you are, I know you won't take these personally. These are not intended to be personal attacks. However, I have asked tough questions to other candidates that have interviewed. So you're no different from them, and will be no different from the one who follows you today. We have been given a monstrous assignment to select a superintendent. A lot of school systems would go outside and employ a consulting firm to search for candidates for superintendent and then maybe make a recommendation to the board as to whom they thought should be employed. We chose not to go that route because that big dollars that we chose to leave in the budget so that those dollars could be used for the benefit of kids, for personnel in our system, etc. So that being said, we have been blessed to have a superintendent that has filled in during this period after Mr. Harden left. The Bible says, God says that in your weakness I am made strong. Surely we have benefited from that guidance by having, and I won't say this publicly, this is a public thanks to Dr. Ed. We could not have made it without his help. Okay, so much for the public speaking. Now for the question. Okay, my question is, please indicate how you will approach the following as our new superintendent. Suppose that you have a failure by a principal or a supervisor to document a problem that he or she has encountered with an employee. How will you approach that?
I think anytime we have a problem with personnel, you're going to approach that in a face-to-face situation where it's fully discussed and probed. And if the supervisor has not done what they need to do, then it's my turn to document what has occurred. And then pursue further with the individual that made the first failure, because we're talking about a failure and a failure. So you start with that supervisor, discuss and document, and then move forward to the individual that made the first failure, discuss and document. Then it's difficult to say in a scenario like this what comes next, but you would take the appropriate action.
And that action is so very important because there could be what bad effect if we don't have proper documentation.
Proper documentation now in this profession, in any profession, is going to become a problem, because then you cannot show people that you're open, that you're transparent, that you're doing things the way they need to be done. That can come in and say to you, hey, how do I know that you did that correctly? We don't have any documentation to show that you even did that at all. We are laying ourselves open to not only a ton of criticism, but possible lawsuits and legal action if we don't do the documentation that's necessary.
I hope everybody in here about that, because we've had lawsuits at the Board of Education, and it has been embarrassing that the documentation needed to make a good presentation in court. It's not that.
I understand.
Okay, and then I would like to ask you this. What about the failure of employees to use purchase orders when buying supplies and material and services? What would you do about that? That happens regularly, right?
That does happen. That should not happen, because that's an essential part of our accounting program and being accountable for funds. There are disciplinary actions that you can take, but my first inclination is to say, if you've been employed by the Jackson County School System long enough to sit through all these workshops that we've had on finances, to be told over and over again how you should correctly proceed to spend funds, perhaps you don't need to have access to funds anymore. There's only so many times you need to tell somebody something to where you lose confidence. And if we have no confidence in that person to be able to access funds correctly, I think we have to at least suspend that privilege and look at whether we go further.
Mr. Moore?
Good. Thank you, ma'am.
Any other questions?
Susan, Ms. Gant, was giving you a question about documented progressive disability. What do you think the key will be the outcome from utilizing documented progressive disability model?
I beg your pardon?
Two intended goals of using a documented progressive discipline program.
Not only the first goal, might be to keep yourself out of trouble, but the main goal, I think, is to have improvement on the part of personnel. You're going to accomplish two things there. You're going to by holding that personnel accountable, make that into a teachable moment. You can try to help that person improve if that's possible, but then you're also sending a message to other people that there is accountability, so that everyone knows what's expected and stays in line with those expectations. Does that get to the heart of your question? Thank you.
I have a follow-up question.
Yes, sir.
While you've been technology coordinator, have you had to write up anybody for breaking the board policy for purchase orders?
No, sir. Would you like for me to explain further there?
Yeah.
Most of those purchase orders I've written. So I take responsibility for those purchase orders. Through the last several years, I have been trying to make sure that, because I know at one point I'm going to have to retire. That's not something I look forward to or want to do, but I will. And I don't want to leave this place without having people ready and knowledgeable on how to carry on. And so I've begun to hand off some responsibility, to delegate some responsibility to some of our IT staff, trying to make sure that I have oversight there. I can think of only one instance where there was an instant where we went over on a bid situation where we bought products along the line and eventually it went over the mark, and that was corrected.